did not have a life like a child should have. I could not go to school. I could not play outside with children like normal children do. I did not quite understand what anti-Semitism really meant. It deprived me of a lot of my childhood.
We were evicted from our house. A priest turned us in to the authorities because we were Jews. We were treated very badly in the schools. Life was very, very harsh.
Probably 5 years old when I understood that Nazis were dangerous people. I overheard the adults talking about what happened to my uncle. He was accosted by Nazi stormtroopers on the street, and then they found out that he was Jewish. They just killed him.
Ladled out from these big cauldrons. Somehow you had, and the slice of bread, somehow you had to save enough to have enough on the black market to get yourself a...
Before the war, there's some things that are really stayed in my head, and I remember being a happy little girl and being in a summer home and playing with this big German shepherd before the war. And then the curtain fell in September 1st, 1939, when the Germans invaded Poland, and all our lives changed completely.
Like many parents, my parents had to give me up in hiding, knowing an entire family couldn't possibly survive together. Here was a letter from my mother, written to my aunt, telling them the situation was desperate.
The scene that met our men when they marched in. Similar scenes met the Americans when they entered Buchenwald. The Nazis marched away 20,000 slaves as the American army drew near.
On June 12, 1929, Anne Frank, a young teen who experienced the horrors of the Holocaust while living in an attic, is born in Frankfurt, Germany.
On January 30th, 1933, Adolf Hitler, the Nazi leader, is voted as the Chancellor of Germany.
March 22nd, 1933, Dachau concentration camp was established by the SS, first built as a camp for political prisoners, but was later transformed into a death camp where hundreds of thousands of Jews, Romas, and others were killed through starvation, disease, and overworking.
April 1st, 1933, the Nazi Party announces a boycott on Jewish businesses within Germany, causing many Jews' shops to close.
April 7, 1933, law for the restoration of professional civil services passed. This excludes any person of Jewish heritage to be allowed to hold a position in the German government.
April 25th, 1933, German law limits the number of Jewish students in public schools, causing many Jews to become uneducated and no longer be allowed the right to education.
April 26, 1933, Gestapo, a German secret police, is established to arrest Jewish people.
July 14th, 1933, law for the prevention of offspring with hereditary diseases passed, forcing many people to have surgeries which would not allow them to bear children. This was a blockage of the right to have children.
August 2nd, 1934, death of President von Hindenburg. Adolf Hitler is promoted to be the president of Germany.
September 15, 1935, the Nuremberg laws are passed, creating the first legal segregation of Jews, Romas, homosexuals, and those with disabilities.
June 1936, Center for Research on Racial Hygiene and Demographic Biology is established, a eugenics center for pinpointing those who were Roma or Sinti.
July 16, 1936, Marzen camp for gypsies, Roma and Sinti, established. Countless gypsies were taken from their homes and put into this camp to live.
On July 15, 1937, Buchenwald concentration camp is opened. Became one of the largest camps built along the old German borders before World War I.
November 8th, 1937, anti-Semitic exhibition opens in Munich. The exhibition showcases how Jews ruin society and how to identify one if they were in public.
March 11, 1938, the Germans annex Austria and incorporate Austria into Nazi Germany, violating the Versailles Treaty.
May 29, 1938, Hungary adopts the same laws as Germany, further promoting anti-Semitism throughout Eastern Germany.
October 5th, 1938, German Jews have their passports declared as invalid, requiring a J stamp to declare they were Jewish and were prevented from leaving Germany.
November 9th, 1938, the infamous Kristallnacht takes place. Members of the Nazi Party burn Jewish synagogues, loot Jewish homes and shops, and kill 91 Jews.
November 12th, 1938, exclusion of Jews from German economic life takes place after a law is passed which closes all Jewish-owned businesses.
January 30th, 1939, Hitler declares that the beginning of war would be a means to the end of Jewry.
September 1st, 1939, the Nazi army invades Poland, the third clear violation of the Versailles Treaty.
May 20th, 1940, Auschwitz, the most famous concentration camp, is established. The SS and Nazi Party come together to assemble the largest concentration camp in World War II.
November 15, 1940, the Warsaw Ghetto, the most famous Jewish ghetto, is sealed with the barriers reaching over 10 feet high and guarded with barbed wire.
March 3rd, 1941, due to overpopulation in the Warsaw Ghetto, the Krakow Ghetto is established. Around 15,000 to 20,000 Jews are removed from their home and placed in stuffed apartments and forced to live within the boundaries of the ghetto.
On August 24th, 1941, Hitler orders the killing of people with mental and physical disabilities. This is known as the euthanasia killings.
September 1st, 1941, all Jews in concentration camps and ghettos are forced to wear badges which identify them as Jews so they won't be mistaken as gypsies.
October 15, 1941, the plan to kill all Jews living in Poland is announced, leading to the murder of over 1.7 million Jews.
December 8th, 1941, orders to kill all occupants of Kelmo by means of toxic gas are announced.
January 20th, 1942, the Wannsee Conference takes solace where the final solution is presented. July 15th, 1942, the deportation of Dutch Jews begin, leaving thousands of people without a home. July 23rd, 1942, gassing operations begin at the concentration camp Treblinka. The gas is known as Zyklon B. December 16th, 1942, Heinrich Himmler orders for the deportation of Roma and Sinti people to Auschwitz.
On March 13, 1943, SS and German police liquidated the Krakow ghetto, killing hundreds and deporting thousands of Jews.
April 19th through May 1943, the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising takes place. Small groups of Jews hid and fought the Germans for almost a month until they were ultimately silenced by German forces.
November 3rd, 1943, Operation Harvest Festival takes place, ordering the killings of surviving Jews in camps near Lublin, Poland.
August 2nd, 1944, the SS took place in liquidating gypsy family camps at Auschwitz-Birkenau, killing hundreds of families, including children and women.
November 25th, 1944, Heinrich Himmler orders the destruction of gas chambers and crematoriums at Auschwitz, in an attempt to hide the war crimes of the German as Allied forces approach.
On January 17, 1945, Allied troops approached Auschwitz, and SS guards began evacuating the camp of all its survivors.
January 27, 1945, Soviet forces successfully liberate the remaining survivors of those at Auschwitz.
April 11, 1945, U.S. forces liberate the Dora Mittelbau concentration camp.
April 11, 1945, U.S. forces liberate the Buchenwald concentration camp after prisoners took control.
April 29, 1945, the U.S. forces liberate the Dachau concentration camp.
November 20th, 1945, the Nuremberg trials, a court case consisting of Allied forces and Nazis beginning. At this court hearing, 22 of the most important living Nazi leaders are convicted of war crimes and sentenced to death or life in prison.
July 4th, 1946, Kielce program occurs. A massacre of Jews in the Polish town of Kielce takes place after the war.
November 5th, 1988, the United States ratifies the creation of the UN Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of Genocide. My name is Skylar Henry. Thank you for watching this project.